Alright, greetings family. We're live on Revolutionary Camera with my two good brothers. Brother Tut, set it off, brother. Set it off.
Yes. Africa for the Africans. The plan. The follow-up. Man, them devils, boy, you know how, when they hear what the truth and reality of it is, of them already knowing it's their time to be over, but when they hear the actual facts surrounding it and see actually government policy as we see it in South Africa, where people reclaiming their land, you see their response, the comments to what the video was. So what we wanted to do was, because the majority of what it was them saying we ain't responsible enough, even though we know over here,
right,
we done developed every damn thing. We built basically America over here, from Gary Morgan and the damn stoplight to the cell phone with Henry Sampson, even these rocket research work in NASA and all that. We saw that with Hidden Figures with the sisters and them.
Right.
We gave them their calculations. So we already know what's up with that. Now we talking about, like what we were saying, as the punctuation to what it is that has to be done once we do repossess the land. The industrialization of it. What it is that we already know. And the brother from Zimbabwe, I was just sending a message back in regards to him. The brother that got the hydrogen powered car in Zimbabwe with the helicopter to match. And I'll look that up so we can have that, or we'll put it in the comment section.
Right.
But what we want to show is how we're moving forward with Africa for the Africans. Comrade Bomani, Kobe Bruce, in the cut. The development of Africa from the ancestors, Diop, to show you through the different river valley regions and what it is it takes in order for Africa to actually be developed, to have that energy source, to have those development plans, and go through it from the comrade ancestor Cheikh Anta Diop, who also gave us civilization or barbarism, the anthropology and African origin of civilization. The scientific research. Cheikh Anta Diop, inventor of radiocarbon dating, updated now to carbon-14 dating by the Americans. This is how you date all of the bones and fossils that come out of the earth, to show what time period they came from. So scientifically, we know, like we said, we ain't got to argue with them. We invented all this shit around here, the computer.
Exactly. I mean, Diop was a genius.
Right. So we're going to look at what it is we need to do and link that with what you're doing, in particular that region, when we come to that area. The privileged position of West Africa, that being many times the gateway into Africa, the most amenable means to reach the continent based on travel arrangement and the airlines and flights and all of that. With basically Ghana being that gateway, and linking that to the work, like we said, that you got going on here with the Ghana Repatriation, going on May 23rd to June 15th. For those of them who's done sign up, shout out to the fam.
Absolutely.
Y'all go with the energy of the ancestors, with my comrade Bomani, you know what I'm saying, touching feet and soil of Africa, from what they did to us and the Ma'afa, carrying us over here to this land and separating us from our people. But us now having the ability, based upon the progress of time, being able to go back over there in mass form, to be able to do industrial projects and help to rebuild Africa, while we make that link between here and there from where we are. So
absolutely,
moving forward with that.
Absolutely, Brother Tut, appreciate the energy. Yeah, family, Cheikh Anta Diop, the great, brilliant Senegalese scientist. Now, Black Africa was one of my favorite books. The thing that stood out about Black Africa was the layout and the clarity of the rich, dominant materials that's in the African continent, in the country, different countries, in the soil, just in the energy of the continent itself. So basically, Cheikh Anta Diop laid it out, and laid out to connect people like myself who are looking to do repatriation, and basically laid out that we can build what we need to build on the African continent. We have all the resources we need. We definitely need to put certain factories in place to to materialize the resources and into finish our products. But the main thing is that we have to get back to that connection. So the repatriation community there in Techiman in the Brahmafo region is to link us to that opportunity. We always talking about solar, wind power, creating our own water source, incredible irrigation systems, and that's what we're looking to do. And that's what Cheikh Anta link us with. So we have basically family. We have everything we need to do to build a future.
Right. Those technical skills in regards to what it takes to actually make a dam that will hold enough water pressure to where a system can be built to actually produce that kinetic energy to flow out to a region to develop it into industrial size power resources where you can melt steel and start to work with, on that level, your cement stuff, you always need that when you're building things. And the cement and the metal thing, that's really be the foundation of what it is, because that's going to build the structures that you're going to need, including, what it is, the vehicles and all of those heavy industrial things. But Diop laid it out in the compendium because it was based on the energy sources. That was the thing, how you get enough power to do those things. And when you're dealing with, of course, the landmass of Africa outside of the diamonds and the gold and all of those things that have to do with the capitalist system of the development, we can talk about the natural resources, the hydraulic energy, the three, the billions of power of, hydroelectric energy that gives to a region in different areas throughout Africa. And later on, he lays out those different regions and how that hydroelectric power is laid out. Also solar energy, and going through, which we are not dealing with, the wind energy and the thermal energy of the seas, the tidal energy, the height of going down. It's all these different ways to develop energy in regard to being on the coast based on global heat and all of these things. Like right now in Hawaii, those volcanoes are erupting and the energy, if you had that within a containment and just the hot water boils, that's what makes a turbine start to go. The heat pressure when you put it through a piping system, and that turns that turbine, and that's what produces that kinetic energy to make that energy. So in that area, just as those volcanoes are erupting, that could be converted into energy also, that volcanic energy and geothermal energy, the difference in night and day in the temperature of the soils and the seas. So all of these different means was what Diop was laying out, and that we know where we've progressed to. So all of y'all that say we can't do it in development, like we said, we already know we built this shit up here. Now we're going to see what you be talking about over there. Because y'all clearly not understanding the fact that it's, time for us to take back that which we rightfully should possess, and that your exploitation time period is over. So we want to give what it is, the actual industrial development information. So you can spread out from here and go to the different Googles or whatever and research them all, and then move towards actually doing those things on the ground in Africa.
That's what I want to ask. We know we have the technical know-how, because like you said, we already done proved it. But from my view, it's like, how do we get the manpower? We got the manpower, but it's going to take actual manpower to build the dam, to build a factory, to manufacture a product. And how do we get the actual manpower? I mean, not even as far as we get the manpower, because we have the people, but how we get the unity to bring those people together to build those things for ourselves in Africa.
Man, some shit stuff that's on that level of development, then you're actually going to have a government behind you.
Okay.
You ain't going to build no dam. I can say if you have you can do a little housing development, you can go dig some wells, you can do that.
Right.
But to actually, like, that size project, that's what keeps us, because when you get on that level, then you deal with the Chinese and all of them that actually, which all it is having the ability and the stableness in a society to be able to hire and bring together those brothers one by one to work to carry the buckets of concrete, to work on the machines that move the dirt,
right,
that have those skills and do all of those things. So that's what actually brings it together. But they keep the advantage on us because usually in those areas that are out of the way, if you got the riverhead, you know, like the Zaire River Basin, and it's coming from back there in the mountains of the moon, back in the back of the Congo, you know what I'm saying, you have to have a substantial bit to invest initially in a project like that to be able to carry it forward and do all of that. So they having a lock on that based on in them same areas they keep conflict and all that going on, like what we seen in the Congo and all of that right there for years and years and years and years and years. And the UN has been occupying it for over 20 years now, and they still occupying it, and they still we got the diamond, you know what I'm saying, the market overturned.
Right.
They getting the coal tan and the children still having to go out there and dig for this. And they still got the militias. And the United States and AFRICOM are still carrying out operations from the Uganda airport for Entebbe, where the Israelis carried out their operations before, and still operating all throughout Central Africa and Ethiopia and Kenya, keeping the Sixth Fleet parked in the Gulf of Mozambique, between Mozambique and Madagascar on that side, and in the Gulf of Guinea on the east, on the west coast of Africa. That's how they say stay stationed. Mm-hmm. That and the other part is up there out off the coast of Iran, where they run all their operations in Yemen and Afghanistan and Iran. When you look at how the fleets of the United States military is spread out across the world.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
In the Pacific region. So we're looking at developing things in regards to the interior of the continent based on those being around those specific river development regions. The Zaire River Basin, as Diop said, was 650 billion kilowatt hours of annual reserves of hydraulic energy. And moving around to the Gulf of Benin, and then looking at Ghana and the Ivory Coast and that development, moving up into the interior Africa and all the great farmlands where we always had substantial communities of Mali, Benin, Songhai, Gao, and all the others. Down to the tropical zone of Senegal and Mali and Niger, moving more towards the west. And then Diop, which makes him so brilliant, always, which we patterned that Pan-African Lodge off of, talk about the industrial development, moving into the textile development, the growth of cotton and the hemp and the sisal and all the things that they make clothes out of in Africa, to the dyes, to the cement, to the oil seeds, the palm oil and all of that we use for everything, to run the damn cars, to cooking your food with, to the fishing and the wood chemistry. So Diop lays it all out. Look at the Black Africa, the economic and cultural basis for the federated state, laying out those different development regions, rice, reforestation, cattle, all the way. So when you move to, now he goes into the interior, Nilotic Sudan, the Great Lakes, Ethiopia, the Zambezi River Basin, Union of South Africa. And this, he says, this country has already been industrialized by its European minority inhabitants. It has gold, diamonds, coking coal in Transvaal Natal, uranium, thorium at the Cape, and wool of international quality from merino sheep. There is a prosperous sugarcane raising on the Indian coast, and it would appear that the Kalahari Desert at its northern border is oil rich as the Sahara.
Excellent.
But that was Namibia. Because when you move further north, that was end up being Southwest Africa. There was oil in Namibia, which the Germans were looking to exploit. Mm-hmm. They had as their colony down there before they lost that position after the First World War, and that's how everything trickled down from there with Nkrumah in Ghana and that independence movement and moving forward. So then we talk about the development of it and linking here as the next chapter is in transport, moving throughout that region and linking them together based on the resource basis to build that development, to move the concrete and the metal and the wood to different regions, to develop them and have them link industries to employ the people all throughout them regions. You look at Kim in North Korea, and all them boys, Cuba, and all them boys who actually damn did it. That's what it be. You get the money, you spread it out evenly among everybody, so nobody don't suffer. You don't have one at the top and everybody else suffer. And then when everybody know they in the same condition, they'll move together to build what it is to defend themselves. So it's basically that elimination of the capitalist system on the class level is, you know what I'm saying? And then, well, if you're dealing with Cuban, it's the socialist thing. The comrades, you know? What it is, the PAIGC and Guinea-Bissau and, you know, like we said, Zimbabwe and the comrades, you know, and Venezuela now, back on this side with Maduro. After the death of Chavez, still doing this thing over there, and you know all across the globe, that you know from the South Pacific all the way back to what we dealing with now. We come back to where we at in Atlanta, GA, in 2018, where crackers under Trump is just ham on nigga ass right now today. But understanding that this worldwide Pan-Africanist perspective of where we are as people is what ultimately is going to bring it to where that oppression is being able to cease all across the world simultaneously. You know, whether each region, whatever time it takes to get each one of them free. But so what's up? What you got over here, man? Since we back in America, who you got? Oh, Comrade Amos.
Yes, this is the psychology of it. But what you're talking about, what I was trying to match it with was Diop vision. Did the African Union link that with Agenda 2043?
63?
Right.
2063. That's
63. That
yeah, I don't know who they 43. The whole Congo will be dead by then.
43.
If you wait that years. If you wait that long.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
It's Agenda 2063.
Yeah.
So that's 50 years.
50 years.
I'm saying Agenda 2043, 30 years, because how old are you gonna be in 50 years? so yeah. So
they be out somewhere pretty, you know what I'm saying?
So they have a 50-year agenda.
Remember these videos.
So shouldn't we be thinking about a 30-year agenda to do some of the things in Africa that we want to see in our lifetime?
I mean, as far as
that's
the agenda as finishing the whole complete project.
Yeah. We ought to be having walking on the leash. Like
but we gotta be realistic though. You know, we gotta pick something and pick a 5-year and then
that's what I'm saying. I can't wait that long.
10-year.
Exactly.
I can't wait that long.
Just ask me what's going on. So
we can pick the children that's the smartest ones in all of them sciences that we talk about right now. We can research the web and be on the net and have them over there on your tour over that shit in 18 months.
You know, the only way that
really
we
push
start
it from right now.
Implement this, like you said, we need government. Right. And we also need institutions of our own to even put that mind state in the people.
Well, we got that. We got the institutions of our own, of course, Africa for the Africans, but on the level of a dam.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, but a school, if not on a level of a dam, you know, start on a level of a bridge or a level on a well. You know,
exactly. So building
a well and a village and a school connected to it.
Right.
A school connected to it, to that land. Then boom, you're in business. Now you start talking about development. You in the house.
Yeah, so some of the base things, you know, like would be a 5-year plan. So we have our sister there in Benue village, and you know, she still have plots of land that our folks are repatriating and getting to be a part of that community. And then we're neighboring there to be the force to have this a staff of people there to be a more underground feel of repatriation and more like, you know, active and progressive.
Right.
You know? We can't wait for
boots on the ground.
And other people to do certain things. You know, that's good that they have some agenda in a 50-year plan. And they're doing all the political stuff, like you talking about dam, railroads, and certain things that, you know, government have to be involved in. But
it might take that long for it to be all across the continent to come together, but we can still work on the region, like where you at, and have that built to it before it links to other ones, because it's ultimately about that liberation. The people on the ground doing those development projects, bringing water, having clean bathrooms, having facilities for youth, for schools and sports and whatever it is they need to do. And that's simple. You go there, you see it, you bring that giant up, you know. So that's, you know what I'm saying, and that's what's being done.
Right. Absolutely. So that's the energy of our repatriation. So Ghana is one of the countries that you have a strong repatriation energy in. So those are some things that are going on. So I always tell people, family, join, get involved in the things that's going on in the African continent. Don't be on the hearsay, he say, she say things. There's a lot of things going on, and it's a lot of work to be done. Even here, if you're committed to just being here and you say we built this and I'm not messing with you folks, with your Africa for the Africans, talking about going to Africa and doing all these things.
No, man.
But then
big up to the comrades that been clapping back on that dear white devil. Big up to the comrades in France and Southeast Asia that's been bigging us up. I see y'all out there. Because them wars and struggles that they carrying out in West Papua New Guinea and the struggles and the wars in South Africa against the white devils. The devils. The people that came there as the Dutch and the French and the Germans as the Boers and made that tribe of Afrikaner to think you own some piece of that cultural lineage, a bloodline that you wiped out all them tribes that we had there, the Sand people and all of them who lived and pretend like they wasn't there. Like you just showed up and nobody lived there.
Right.
All of that, our ancestors, they blood cried from the grave for redemption for that. So it gonna visit you. You might as well just, you know what I'm saying? Go and take that. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that.
Absolutely. And let's get
hey, that was one thing I was telling them. I was like, you can do about it. You just gonna have to swallow it.
Just go swallow that one.
What you gonna do
now? How you out of 3 million and there's 25 million surrounding you, and you think you go home forever? You think you need that though? But come on, man. So all of y'all that experience it, and what the girl name? Lauren Southern. Yeah. That was, since we already talking ish about that. Those reporters, the media, they're going over there and trying to give a false representation of the armed struggle that's being carried out for the redemption of the land in South Africa. The hell with you. You can try to misrepresent it, but we can go on YouTube and the comrades sending them videos on their websites. They're showing them creeping in their house, just sneakily at night, visiting them so beautifully, just as they did in Zimbabwe before. And that's going to occur all across the land of Africa. That's all it is to it. All of what the prophecy said and, whatever it is, that's going to happen. But what the important part is that we understand and not mess it up like a lot of times was done before with cats who sit next to them betraying, like Campari did Sankara, and what was done to Nkrumah himself when he was visiting Hanoi with the comrades in Vietnam, and they sold him out based on those neo-colonialist Toms who held those positions in the military and throughout the governments. Had to stay vigilant as you move to consolidate forces in regards to what they have to do, especially those who have affiliations with Western and European and American military interests. That's all that it is. That's how the Cubans taught you how to move. And the North Koreans, how it is to do your own thing, set your policy, even if they, just like Cuba, surround your country and put you under embargo and have their naval circle around it day and night every single day. Still, do what you got to do with inside your country. Feed your people, make your gardens everywhere, and make sure y'all can eat and move your development forward and defend yourself with each and every single citizen, all in the same thought form pattern of anti-imperialist struggle against them, and you ain't got no problem.
That's it.
Now we're gonna take it worldwide.
Appreciate you, Tut. Let me get a book. Yeah. So, family, that's Tut Analysis on Black Africa. Brother Kofi, Bruce, you mentioned you read this book also.
Oh no, actually I didn't read this book.
This one you didn't read.
Yeah, I didn't read this book.
So based on what Tut was talking about, the investment, the infrastructure, the vision of Africa based on...
I mean, it's perfect. It's in here.
But the title of it, Black Africa.
When I first started reading it, I forgot it was Cheikh, Anta, Diop. I thought it was Amos Wilson.
Right.
Just from what I was actually reading. Yeah, it got the blueprint in here also.
Yeah, the blueprint, the blueprint too, man.
Yeah, he lay out heavily all the resources in the continent, and then
do your research. If you haven't read this book like me, I'm gonna be reading it tonight. Actually,
yeah,
read it.
Also from the myth of the African origin of civilization,
Yeah, I
also
read
by
that
Cheikh
book.
and Diop, and Civilization or Barbarism by Diop, which
Yep.
is the actual anthropology based on radiocarbon dating, which he invented. That now is called American Carbon 14 dating. If you do your research, once again, Africans in the position of inventing every damn thing. They'll take the damn. Come on, man, shit. Even in the other territories where it's looser, where you have more weed coming to you from Babylon, Cracker might be driving down the street with the police right now. You never know. You know what I'm saying? For where we at, but in those liberated territories and where the struggle is being carried forward, those utilities and things that it takes to actually bring about nation, make your people comfortable, your water systems, your development of energy based on the solar and wind power, all those things now in these days and times is so much easier to develop. And you can do those things in almost like a cookie cutter fashion. If we can put together where it is, we could throw in, because that's what we doing now, to just buy a bunch of solar panels, and then we don't know how we're going to hook them together and how many of them it take. If you hook them together, it's going to blow up these batteries over here that you got to hook to. But we just going to try this shit. We just going to try it. You know what I'm saying? Just to fool with it to see how long it can make, you know, where you ain't got to pay Georgia Power. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, you know. I was messing with it. I tried to hook it in the circuit board, just like that right there. Take all the other fuses out and just put them. Yeah, it worked, dog. Yeah, it worked. So, hey, look, that's what it's about, to be able to make that off the grid.
You don't get nobody in trouble with it. Next time Georgia Power coming to the house of the feds and saying, hey man, you're taking money out of our pocket.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I ain't do it. It wasn't me.
But yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Africa. You can build your own infrastructure with all the modern day high tech technology. But family, let's close on this one. Kofi Bruce, what's your input based on all the fine analysis talking about as far as Black Africa?
I mean, he basically said it all. You know, my input is just listen. You know, pay attention to what he said. Go do your own research and let's do this.
Yeah. Civil engineering, all the way through the chemical engineering, like I said, with the wood industry, aerospace. Computer tech, shit, this dude, Bomani. So, and what it is that is the project that actually link you from where you actually at to get from where you at in Atlanta, GA, in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Dallas, Texas. The package is all put together. You're gonna be there. How many spots you going to this time with it? Because you got multiple spots.
We're just going to Ghana, and the main emphasis in Ghana is Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Accra. And then once we then we have a special region which takes you up into the middle of the country. Yeah, Techiman in the Bronghafa region. Yeah, it's 7 hours into the country.
Yeah,
7 hours by driving.
Where it flattened out up there. What's that place up there? Some place up there. I remember when I went with Dr. Barbara Smalls a long time ago.
Yes, the center of Ghana.
Yeah.
And the main emphasis on that is not but land, because most of the people in the populated cities are Kumasi and Accra, and people live further south.
Right.
So if you're looking to do any kind of industrial development like we're talking about, you have to be open to go further out and get to work. Black people stop waiting for white people and Asians to develop everything, then move in and then give them all of your life savings. Let's build the infrastructure we need and build it as sustainable as possible.
Build it out to solar and then wind power.
And that's based on what Cheikh Anta Diop is talking about. That's fully sustainable technology, and it's all right there in Africa. We just gotta use our brain power and put it to work.
That's it.
So family, it's appreciate your energy, family, and we're closing. So we see you on another episode.
Forward, Africans.
Keep it strong.
Forward, Africans.